Treason. Trump finally exposes Obama's criminal activity in Bombshell interview. In a Bombshell interview, President Donald Trump exposed Barack Obama's alleged criminal activity while he served as the 44th President of the United States. Trump didn't mince words while calling out the former president, saying if he would have done the same thing it would be called treason. "This is really bad timing for the Obamas. You don't want to miss this." President Donald Trump and Barack Obama photo credit Alex Wong, Getty Images, YouTube, screenshot. President Trump sat down with his former deputy campaign manager David Bossie and his former campaign manager Corey Lewandowski for their new book titled, Trump's Enemies: How the Deep State is Undermining the Presidency. During the Bombshell interview, they ask whether or not he believed Barack Obama knew that John Brennan, CIA chief at the time, and James Clapper, then director of national intelligence, were conducting surveillance on members of his campaign. "Remember her? Don't cry when you see what she looks like now. 7 billionaires and their cars that will surprise you. Wheel of Fortune to give away a $350,000 house as a prize. Personally, I think he knew. Yeah. Just remember what they did," he claimed. "Let me put it this way, if the shoe were on the other foot, and the same thing happened to him, it would be treason and they'd be locked up for 100 years. The Political Insider reports, Bossie and Lewandowski include author notes in their interview transcript with President Trump indicating he may very well be correct when he suggests Obama knew. Of course, they are referring to Trump's infamous tweet which was met with extreme skepticism by the mainstream media. On March 4, 2017 the president tweeted, "Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. Heavy check mark real Donald Trump. Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. Ads by RevContent. Now, we know that tweet was probably met with overwhelming fear by Obama and his cohorts. It was only 8 weeks later that the deep state rats were able to squeeze their allied Deputy Ag Rod Rosenstein into calling for Robert Mueller to launch an investigation, which many astute conservative pundits are now calling the cleanup operation to hide the illegal spying on Trump. This directed the focus on the president. But the one question so many have been trying to suss out is what part did Obama have in the deep state coup? Well, it looks like the former president was well aware of the illegal spying operation. The New York Post reports, official documents on the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation into Trump's campaign place Obama in meetings about surveillance of the Republican candidate's aides. Co-author Lewandowski writes, citing unnamed sources who say Obama's name was then redacted from the still classified papers. The authors suggest they have evidence demonstrating President Obama had first-hand knowledge of the illegal surveillance. In most cases, they write, the names of all individuals who attended these meetings are listed and unredacted, with the exception of one. We have several sources who have informed us that this redacted name is President Barack Obama. If these sources are correct, it would mean that Obama had direct knowledge of the surveillance on Donald Trump. Source: The Political Insider. President Trump probably was first made aware that he was being illegally spied on by former NSA Director Mike Rogers about 10 days after the president was elected. Rogers defied Obama and met with the then-president-elect on the next day. For no known reason, the Trump transition team moved completely out of Trump Tower and hightailed it to Bedminster, New Jersey, where Trump has a golf resort. It is surmised that Rogers warned Trump he was being spied on and Trump Tower was not safe. Immediately, Obama struck back at Rogers and started smearing him in the press. 2 days after Rogers met with Trump, James Clapper, Obama's director of national intelligence and a huge critic of Trump's currently on CNN, called for Rogers to be outed. The LA Times reported on November 19, 2016, the recommendation to relieve ADM. Michael S. Rogers from his post as head of the National Security Agency was made to the White House last month by Defense Secretary Ashton Carter and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, according to U.S. officials, who were not authorized to speak publicly on the matter. This is damning information. James Clapper, one of Barack Obama's biggest supporters who was the former president's Director of National Intelligence, surely did not act on his own to call for Mike Rogers to be fired. To think that Obama had zero knowledge of these events is ludicrous. Find out more greater than But as long as Mueller has his cleanup investigation going on, he is able to block the huge paper trail of this illegal Crossfire hurricane operation by claiming it comes under his purvey as classified information. Now, do you see why Mueller's investigation must drag on? Well, poor Michelle Obama surely has gotten wind of this latest bombshell. Of course, the mainstream media wouldn't dare ask the former First Lady about these allegations of treason against her husband, but she is probably losing sleep thinking what will happen when Robert Mueller can no longer stop the Crossfire hurricane documents from coming out.